Oh no, folks. It seems as if Chicago didn't really want to spend $12 to watch this preseason game in person. They didn't want to see the epic return of their number one star that got traded away coming back. I mean, these tickets were going for $7-8.
The lights were on, the floor was polished, the scoreboard was glowing, the arena was ready, the Chicago Sky were back, and Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed Chai Barbie, the woman who spent 2 full years telling anyone who would listen that she moves the needle in women's basketball, was making her return to the city that made her famous. This was supposed to be the moment, the comeback, a fresh start. And then the fans showed up. Or rather, they didn't.
Watch this. Uh-oh, now look, it's our time. Listen, when Caitlin had her preseason game, y'all wanted to come put stuff in our face and clown us. Well, guess what? Now it's time for y'all to get the same treatment. So tell me why in Angel's first preseason game, and it went exactly how I told y'all it would, she shot 28% in the paint. 0% from the three-point line. Every three she threw up there, clank. And then from the free throws, she made 4 out of 8. She had 8 free throws. They was free. And she only made half.
Let's start with what happened on the court, because the game itself told a story before anyone even checked the attendance numbers. Angel Reese stepped onto the Wintrust Arena floor for the Chicago Sky's first preseason game of 2026, a matchup against the Atlanta Dream. The night unraveled quickly. She shot 2 of 7 from the field, missed 4 of her 8 free throw attempts, and finished with 8 points in just 13 minutes of play. That is not a typo. 2, 4, 7 for missed free throws. For a player who has spent 2 years presenting herself as the face of a franchise, it was the kind of performance that does not go unnoticed. And with Angel Reese, nothing ever does.
Her ego get in the way. That's where she's going to be dangerous and destroy the team. And I'm being honest here because honestly, she's literally the same player from last year. She's the same player from the year before. She didn't really change that much, man. She's the same exact player, okay? As long as she can score 0 to 5 feet and don't miss layups, she will be fine. But I don't think it's the game on the court is the issue. The issue is, will she be willing to accept a role player position? If she accepts it, she will be fine. If she don't, there's going to be huge problems. This is going to be called Atlanta nightmare afterwards. I'm telling you, that's what it is. It's going to come down to that. Is she willing to accept her role? Because I said this before and I got hated for it. But
Angel Reese had made a highly publicized move to the Atlanta Dream in the offseason, which meant this was technically her debut against her former team. The optics alone already felt unusual, returning to the building where she had once been suspended, now facing an organization she had publicly clashed with, in a game where Chicago fans had every reason to see how she would respond. But the city answered that question before the opening tip. 3,000 seats were left empty inside Wintrust Arena. 3,000 empty seats in a building that was supposed to be buzzing for this exact moment.
If I had to take a guess, behind the baskets, they said, you guys don't need to sit here. Let's actually file you in to the hundreds, to the 100 sections, and we'll move you towards center court. So on TV, it actually looks like there's more people in the building than it actually is. So I'm assuming that behind this backboard, you see that it's empty. The upper deck, you see that it's empty. But I would also assume that behind the basket that we're getting this camera angle from, it is empty, and the upper deck is empty. If I had to take a guess, 1,500 people in the building? Maybe.
The internet picked it up instantly. It always does. Within an hour of tip-off, photos and clips of vast stretches of empty seats were spreading across X, TikTok, and Reddit. The comment sections filled quickly, 3,000 empty seats for Angel Reese's return, and she shot 2, 4, 7. That arena knew something we didn't. Reactions split, some surprised, others not at all, but the image spoke for itself. Empty seats don't debate narratives, they expose them. And in Chicago on April 29th, those 3,000 empty chairs inside the Chicago Sky Arena were making enough noise to be felt from outside the building.
Oh, and I'm sure you came back to a sellout crowd that could not wait to see you or not. Only 6,724 fans showed up to the Wintrust Arena. Yeah, it holds about 9,500 fans, so we're talking roughly 3,000 fans away from being sold out to see the return of Angel.
Now, here's where the story gets more complicated, because this wasn't even the first time this exact narrative had played out. Go back to May 2025, when Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky traveled to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center at LSU, her college home, the arena where she won a national championship and became a household name, for a preseason exhibition game. That night, the upper bowl never even opened because the lower level couldn't fill up. Tickets were being resold for as little as $11, sometimes $15, and even then seats stayed empty. Social media grabbed those images in 2025 and never let them go. But apparently, the lesson didn't land, because in 2026 Chicago echoed the same reality LSU fans had shown back then. Only this time, it happened in her own city. There is a pattern here that is hard to ignore. When Reese's 2025 season unraveled, it didn't do so quietly. The Chicago Sky finished the year with 10 wins and 34 losses, missing the playoffs for a second straight season and posting one of the worst records in the league. That wasn't just a down year, that was a brutal stretch for a franchise that entered the rebuild expecting to compete. But the collapse on the court was only part of it. Off the court, things became even more complicated. Angel Reese gave an interview to the Chicago Tribune where she suggested the roster needed major upgrades, or she might have to rethink her future with the organization. The Sky didn't ignore it. They suspended her after the comments, calling them detrimental to the team. A mid-season suspension of a star player for public criticism isn't a small detail. It's the kind of moment that sticks, and it followed her straight through the offseason and right out of Chicago, eventually leading to her move to the Atlanta Dream.
Banham or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. And according to the Tribune, Reese believes that the team needs to be overhauled this season around just two solidified pieces on the 2026 roster, herself and Camila Cardoso. She said, "I'm not settling for the same crap we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. However I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. I'd like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move."
So when the 2026 preseason arrived and Angel Reese was back in Chicago wearing Atlanta Dream colors, there was no shortage of storylines. The franchise exit, the suspension, the return, and the lingering questions about whether her relationship with the Chicago Sky was truly over. Beneath all of that sat the most persistent criticism of her game, the one that refuses to disappear no matter how many rebounds she collects. Her shooting efficiency, specifically her struggles to consistently finish around the rim. That has been the central talking point around her game since her rookie season, and it resurfaced again after this performance. Critics have spent 2 years pointing out that her high rebound totals, while impressive on paper, often include her own misses, which changes how those numbers are interpreted and tells a different story than the box score alone suggests.
You guys were serious about Angel Reese rebounds coming from her own layups? I ain't believe it till today. Like, I'm looking, I see she got 7 in the first quarter. I'm like, oh yeah, she balling. I go on ESPN, Angel Reese offensive rebound, Angel Reese miss, Angel Reese offensive rebound, Angel Reese miss, Angel Reese offensive rebound, Angel Reese blocked, rebound, Angel Reese blocked again, rebound. Bruh, do you not have other teammates, gang? After the second miss, just pass the ball. What am I looking at right now? This all happened in the first quarter in the span of 2 minutes, bro. I thought people was trolling when they said this, bro. Like, I know that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese beef on the internet is crazy, but nah. We gotta leave color out of this. What the hell is that? I'm surprised her teammates are not upset at her, bro. All these attempts, you could have easily passed the ball. You rebound, you see you can't put it up, pass it.
The most striking example of this pattern came in May 2025 during a game against the New York Liberty that went viral for all the wrong reasons. In one stretch, Reese missed 8 shot attempts while still collecting 12 rebounds, 5 of them coming in a 19-second span of pure self-generated second chances. 19 seconds, 5 offensive rebounds, all off her own misses. The clip spread quickly across every platform. Analysts, casual fans, and commentators used it to highlight the core debate around her game. The rebounds are real, but so are the missed shots that create them. And when you connect those two numbers, the story becomes more complicated than the box score suggests. That sequence never really left the conversation, and when Reese went 2 of 7 from the field against the Chicago Sky on April 29th, with 4 missed free throws added on top, it only brought those old discussions back into focus again.
Finished the game. 8 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. She was on fire. She was cooking. She was cooking. At least that's what you would think. With this Yahoo Sports graphic, and of course fans, they weren't letting it slide by. Well, shot 2 for 7. You can find better hoops at an 8th grade AAU. Damn. Poster stats, dog. 2 for 7. Field goal, under the rim, 4 for 8 from the free throws.
Here is what makes the shooting inefficiency conversation so persistent. Reese isn't being criticized for taking difficult shots. She's not launching deep threes or forcing tough off-the-dribble jumpers. The shots she's missing are the ones expected to fall: close-range finishes, layups, and free throws. Those are the areas where a 6 feet 3 inches player with her physical profile is typically supposed to dominate. And yet, that's exactly where the issues keep showing up. Game after game, preseason after preseason, it's not her rebounds, steals, or defensive effort that dominate the discussion, it's her missed shots. When your misses become the main talking point after games, it signals that the conversation around your game is stuck in the same place, not evolving in the direction you'd want.
Game from tonight.
Angel Reese was shooting the three. Angel Reese steps in way of the passing lane, forces a turnover, calls her own number, can't finish.
I bet that was highly aggravating. She fouled out of the
For that shot, Angel Reese doing
Pathetic.
some action on the defensive glass.
Point.
Was excited for her opportunity to
Free
return
throw.
to Chicago. And now this league and
She thinks she's Kayla Clark.
up there as well. Clocks to Reese. We've got 2 new teams here in the league this year. Angel Reese loaned her head court right at Cardoso. Angel with the rebound.
Let's come back to those 3,000 empty seats, because they deserve more than a passing mention. The growing public indifference toward Angel Reese in Chicago didn't appear overnight. It built gradually through a 10-34 season that frustrated fans, a suspension that played out publicly and awkwardly, and a franchise exit that felt less like a celebration and more like a relationship quietly running out of road. Fans processed all of it. They remembered it. And when it came time to decide whether to attend her preseason return, 3,000 of them chose to stay home. That isn't apathy born from ignorance. So when 3,000 people in her own market, in a building that hosted her for 2 seasons, decide not to show up for a highly publicized return, the real question isn't whether fans were paying attention. It's what they were paying attention to, and what conclusions they drew from what they saw.
The announcers: Angel drives, miss. Angel Reese, miss. Angel, nothing but rim. My God, she jumps and gets shorter. Buck falls on head 3 times. Angel Reese, 28% from the field, 7 rebounds, 2 assists.
The contrast that often gets pulled into this conversation is an uncomfortable one for people who prefer a cleaner narrative. Because in that same 2025 WNBA season, the one where the Chicago Sky went 10-34, missed the playoffs again, and dealt with internal turbulence, the Indiana Fever were operating in a completely different environment. They were shifting games into larger arenas because demand exceeded capacity. Across the league, teams like the Atlanta Dream, the Connecticut Sun, and the Dallas Wings were also moving select home games into NBA-sized venues just to accommodate attendance. And heading into 2026, 39 of the Indiana Fever's 44 regular season games were scheduled in NBA-sized arenas, a reflection of sustained demand. That's where the contrast becomes unavoidable. The league can be growing overall, while individual markets and individual storylines still produce very different levels of pull. Attendance doesn't interpret itself. It just records what's happening in real time.
We've been practicing, for a week and a half. It feels like a month, feels like 2 months, and it's been super seamless. I think everybody can see an easy adjustment for me because I think my teammates and my coaches feel a lot of confidence.
So here we are again. A new season, a new team, a new city. Atlanta waiting to see which version of Angel Reese shows up when the games start to matter. The suspension is in the rearview mirror. The 10-34 season is in the rearview mirror. The empty seats in Chicago and the quiet night in Baton Rouge are, technically, behind her now. But that's the thing about rearview mirrors. They exist for a reason, because what's behind you doesn't disappear. It still shapes what comes next. Reese has always been someone who responds to doubt loudly. She's never been shy about who she thinks she is or what she believes she represents. That confidence has become part of her identity. And there's something compelling about a player who refuses to shrink under criticism. But confidence only carries so far without production to match it. Right now, the on-court results, and even the crowd response in some moments, are not doing her any favors. The shooting has to improve, not because critics demand it, but because the game demands it. You can't build a high-level offensive profile around repeated second chances off your own misses forever. Eventually, the shot has to fall. And those 3,000 empty seats in Chicago on April 29th didn't happen by accident. They weren't weather, scheduling, or coincidence. They were a message. Whether Angel Reese chooses to take it in is up to her. But empty seats don't argue. They just reflect reality.